entertaining, informative, and educational. Inspiring content that makes a difference.
This is the Maximus Troy Publications Broadcasting Network.
Join the Academy. This show is brought to you by the Breeders' Academy, where we will help you to increase your knowledge of breeding, advance your skills as a breeder, and help you to improve the quality and performance of your fowl.
As a member, I'll provide you a roadmap that you will need to create a true family restraint. Starting with a cock from one breeder and a hen from another breeder, no problem. We can help you to turn your flock of hybrid crosses or mongrels into a pure family or strain, and show you how to continually improve that strain each generation. We'll start by showing you how to select your seed fowl and how to turn that seed fowl into a high-quality foundation strain. Our proven breeding programs and specialty courses are designed to take you step by step through the breeding process. And best of all, I'll be there to help you every step of the way.
We urge you to check it out. You have nothing to lose, and you can cancel at any time. You also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Simply go to www.breedersacademy.com to sign up.
The Breeders' Academy will not only change the way you think about breeding, but improve the way you breed your fowl. Okay, welcome to another episode of Bred to Perfection. I'm Kenny Troiano, and I'm here with my wife Nancy and my co-host Frank Bradley. What's up?
So far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good. But I'm going to apologize because we're going to have to. The topic we were going to do today was this one, which was in and inbreeding, which I think is a really good topic, and we're having serious internet issues, and it's. We were not completely offline a second ago, and it was pixelating really bad. So I told Frank and Nancy, why don't we just do a Q&A today? This is just too good of a episode to mess up. So it'll just be an easy day. We'll just do an hour, get your questions ready, and we'll answer them. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed because I was really looking forward to this. We got some really good.
It was a good one.
It is a good one. Yeah. It's the way I have this all set up. It's a master's class video style. Let's put it that way. And I don't mind sharing this one because I really think it's a topic everybody needs to know about. because a lot of people are using it, and I just don't think it's a great way to create a strain or improve a strain. It can be used as to maintain a strain once it's established, but it has its flaws, and so we'll just cover it next week. We'll just make this an easy day. But what I did want to talk about, which we can do today, did you see this, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
Well, is it a dire wolf? No. But is it interesting? Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how these things develop and how close to an actual dire wolf they become, because actually that's not yeah, it is the banner I created. Okay.
Mhm.
So let me put this up here. This is just
Yep.
gonna be easy day.
They were huge, the dire
Yeah,
wolves
so
were.
if they can, what they say, I wrote some notes here. So they engineered around 20 different genes. They edited 20 different genes to come up with this. And some of it came from a tooth from a dire wolf. So is it a true dire wolf, like pure? We're all about purity of blood. Is it a real? I don't know. Maybe not. But I am very curious to see how close to an actual dire wolf these do develop into.
It has the
So
DNA of the dire wolf in it, but there was a lot of process that has to go on there that could knock it down to where they never really get to the size or the appearance they need to be. So I guess it's a waiting game, really.
yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. And then my biggest question, which made me want to talk about it, how are they going to keep these guys going? If and then if like, are they going to use something like the founders program, and do I introduce it, type of thing? What are they going to do with them if they are dire wolves? They're not going to let these things into the wild.
They couldn't.
They can't.
They can't. Well, they're turning. I don't know how true it is. I've seen a lot of articles on it, but the red wolf, which from my research used to roam free here in Kentucky, and they're a hybrid made from a coyote and a wolf, and they just wreak havoc on cattle. That's the reason they don't exist today. Was the farmers actually took them out? Attacking people, what have you. But they've got grants right now to actually reintroduce those in certain parts in Kentucky to get them started now through the government.
Well, they released them in Montana. They released them in Colorado. Yeah, I'm sure the ranchers aren't too happy about it. But
I wouldn't
yeah,
be. I'm not. If they release
yeah,
them in this area, I'm not, because if you accidentally shoot one that's in your chickens thinking it's a dog or something, you're going to be in trouble.
yeah. When I first heard about it, we weren't sure what we were getting. All kinds of reports about it. One time I heard they only had boys. They had two boys, and then I finally heard that they had two boys and a girl. And although they've been showing off the boys, they're keeping that girl very tightly protected.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, that's
yeah,
the backbone right there.
yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Um,
Okay, here is my thought process on the whole matter.
mhm.
Okay, you started off with the dire wolves before you got the wolves, correct? Down to what the wolves
Well,
we have today. So, I mean, if I'm right about that. So you have the genetic makeup in the wolves that stems back through generations, 12,000 years, that they've got some of that um, genetic traits in there. And if they select to those genetic traits, can they eventually get to purity of blood? You know, you got to wonder.
well, if there's anything in
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Yeah,
There
it's
you are.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it popping up, letting me know that I'm in and out. If Sue's right, which I think she is that if they're not going to be pure, I mean, I think she says something like
98%.
98%. Okay, well, that means they're not pure. Can they get them to a point through selection that they can be very close to the actual dire wolf? Yeah, they can be almost visually, they could be almost identical.
yeah, 110-pound wolf is extinct for a reason. Hello, you guys there? Can anyone hear me? Any of the viewers, can you hear me? If you can, put in a comment if you can hear me to the viewers. I think it's just Nancy and Kenny, though, really. Yeah, that's what I thought, Rolando. They left me hanging. Well, let them try to come back in and see. Man, this has been a mess this evening. Yes, Frank is live. Exactly. I don't feel it. Maybe they're not going to come back. We'll give them a few seconds and see what they do before we call it. I knew this was going to happen, though. We was having problems back in the green room. And Kenny decided to just skip the outline and save it for a better day. But they've been having some bad issues out there the past couple hours before we went live. So I don't think it's going to get any better, though, to tell you the truth about it. This always happens on the nights you want to do the show the most for me. Every time. Seems like the better the outline, the more problems we have, it seems. Let me see what we're going to do with them. Well, Nancy just made a comment. There we go.
Hold on a second. Oh, where's the clip of this? No, I can't hear. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. If we go out, just stay there, Frank. And
that's what I done. I asked the viewers if they could still see and hear me. And yep, I was, okay. Sue said Frank live.
Okay. So what we did was we turned off her computer out there. We made Tani turn off hers and seeing if we can make our imprint on the internet a little bit smaller. Maybe it won't, maybe it'll help. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting show. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
If they can hear you, we're in good shape. So if I can hear you, they can probably hear you, though.
Okay. The way you were looking, I wasn't sure you were hearing me at all.
No, I was trying to turn all my stuff off, too.
Yep. Let's see.
Okay, before we get started with the Q&A, one question is, will we be discussing in and inbreeding next week? Yes, if we do not have any internet issues.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, guys.
And then the week after that, I think Frank and I are going to do something on maybe nutrition.
Yeah, we got. Okay. We got a really good outline for that too, guys.
So Frank has come up with a handful of outlines, and I'm going to let him decide which one he wants to do. He showed me one the other day. I think it's going to be really good too.
Yeah, and then we can actually do that on the front end as well.
Yeah. So. You checking out?
Yeah, I'm checking out the chats, guys.
Boy, that thing's way behind.
Yeah, I that's what I was saying, Kenny. And as soon as I was going on about it, Nancy put up two of her comments popped up before you guys even got back.
Oh, this is a terrible show.
I said, something's happening because Nancy's not on there, but she's making comments.
Yeah, we started having internet issues about 45 minutes ago before the show even started.
About an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, the sound and everything's good, but it's still, I can see pixels running across the screen.
Yeah. Okay. No show on the back end today. Sign up for the Breeders' Academy. Sign up for the Breeders' Academy. Join the newsletter. Make sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and we're on YouTube. There's our advertisements. Shortest I've ever done it.
Wow, we need to be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good.
That's a record.
That is a record.
Y'all liking that, aren't you?
So we're working off of one microphone, by the way, too. So
yeah, Sue said, "Glad you guys in Kentucky are drying out." Me
Yeah.
too, Sue. I tell you, 55 years. This last one, I'm usually on the brunt. I'm feeling sorry for everybody else, and kind of feeling guilty because we got by on the easy. But this last one, it didn't discriminate. It really was bad. I couldn't even walk. Excuse me, I couldn't even walk in my yard. I had boots up to almost my knees, and your feet would go so deep into the ground that you couldn't even get your boot back out of it hardly. So it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And yet it drained out really quickly.
Yeah. It did, about 3
crazy.
days. We're good to go because we get so much rain and it's irrigated so much. It's accustomed to so much heavy storms that, especially if the wind's involved, it can come a really hard rain, and if the wind's blowing at any mile per hour whatsoever, it dries out, especially if the sun's out. It doesn't take it very long whatsoever. But what gets us is when it rains, it saturates the ground, and then it just keeps on doing it. Then it starts running off the mountains, the hills, into the bottom, and that's when you start running into flash flooding and problems start. But we were still on the end to where we didn't get it as bad as others. Others got it way worse. Even lives, families been destroyed and everything. So we just chickens. We lost a few chickens. Other than that, we was blessed to be on that side of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to pull something up here. Oh, okay, there it is. All right. So Sean was telling me earlier that he wants to join in the summer, and I was telling he lives in Hawaii, and I was telling him that's a place that's on my bucket list. I want to go there someday, and he goes, "Well, make sure when you get out here, you tell me about it, and we'll go have dinner." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go see your chickens." And he goes, "Well, yeah, if you want to see one rooster and one hen in a pen, But the reason why I'm bringing that up is now is the perfect time to join the Breeders Academy because you're at the beginning of your breeding journey. And I can't think of a better time for him to start.
Yeah. I mean, while you're getting your chickens, you're learning because there's so much on the website for you to learn from. It's not about, we always say, if you don't have chickens yet, this is a good time to join because you're going to save yourself a lot of time and money and effort because there's a lot of things about the birds you may not know. It may help you select the birds when you go to buy your birds. It may give you a lot of insight, give you some knowledge, give you some a little bit of idea of what you should be selecting when you go on the farms and go select your birds. So definitely join now. Start your education right away. By the time you get the birds, you'll be in good shape, so.
I agree 100% because it's going to allow you, what do we say, guys? We always tell the people just starting in it, get the best seed fowl that you're starting with that you can afford, that you can get. Match them up as good as you can. And by not having birds and actually going and doing all your studies and going through the academy and learning, that's going to help you do just that. It's going to help you not get ripped off when you go find the birds that you're going to start with.
We say it all the time. If we knew what we know today and had a website like this with all the information, could you imagine where we'd be at today? If we started, this is incredible. So
we definitely would have saved a lot of money.
A lot of money, a lot of time. We would have been a lot further. It wouldn't have took me 30 years to create a family, So just join now. I may have to remind people, or I'm seeing the numbers grow as far as viewers. Just let everybody know we're having serious internet problems. And so we're not going to do the episode we were going to do. We're going to do that next week. So get your questions in. We'll just do a Q&A. We got about another, 40 minutes, and then we'll get off for today. It just, so far so good. Since I turned Nancy's computer off, made Tawny turn hers, it's been a lot better. So hopefully that makes a difference.
Sue's right. I've seen this over time. It started out as a bunch of people with the same likes in their fowl and wanting to learn how to breed in the correct way. And it's turned a bunch of friends into family.
Yeah.
You know, I see them. I don't go in as much as I have here the last little bit because of what we've been going through here. But anytime you get on there, you can see them helping each other. And
Oh, yeah.
that's the biggest thing. They help one another with the
Yeah.
problems that they have.
You know, when I first started this is a membership website. And when I first started, the person I was learning from, his name was Shane Sams. And that's what he did. He taught people how to create and run and have a membership website. And the one thing he kept saying was, it's people come in for the information, but they stay for the community. And I never really took that to heart. I didn't think that was really a big deal because I figured people that they don't want to communicate. They just want to come in, learn what they can, and get the heck out, type of thing. And I noticed since we created the what is it? The Facebook groups page where all the members kind of get together and they talk and share things, that it's changed so much. And you can see how they get along and how they share things, even in the comments on these shows, you know. But I don't even go into the Facebook group page very much. I might go in there once in a while and just kind of look around, but I don't really participate because to me, that's their area. That's where they communicate. I feel like if they need me or Frank, they know how to get a hold of us. They can go in the website, contact us there, and I can help them there. So I try to stay out of it because I notice that every time I get into the conversation on that page, everybody just shuts up and stops. I don't want that. I want them to share. And the advice that they're giving each other is really good, Frank. It really is.
Yeah, spot on. And that's what makes it so ironic. And I think that's the reason that, you know, when we're going to the back end a lot of times, if we have a Q&A or anything, I tell Kenny, I said, you know, either they don't have questions or we're doing our job, one or the other. Or it could be both. But we don't have the questions that we used to have before, you know, because like I said, they help one another. If one's having a problem, you know, they all join in and help that one person.
Yeah. So, and you know, the website keeps growing. I'm going to keep talking to you guys, send questions, because I don't have a whole lot to talk about other than what we were going to cover today, which was really good stuff. You know what I mean? Because what we were going to do was we were going to cover in and inbreeding on the front end and then go on the back end and show how it related to and what the difference is to the Founders Program. Because when I first told Frank what we were going to cover, he was like, that's good. That's going to be a fun show. But, you know, without the Founders Program, you know, how are you going to show them the good and the bad and, you know, whatever. And I was like, yeah, he makes a lot of sense. But I did put together a really good outline that's going to show you what in and inbreeding is all about, the pros and cons, ways of using it properly, why you probably shouldn't use it to create the strain. And then, like I said, we're going to go into the back end and compare it to the Founders Program. We'll do hopefully next week. I don't know what's going on today. We haven't had nothing was happening until an hour ago or so.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I got on here, I think I jinxed them.
You did.
No. We were talking. We're sitting in the living room talking, waiting for the show. And about an hour before, we started seeing it happen on our TV.
Yeah.
There was something going on. We're like, ooh, okay.
That's the way it was last week here. It'd be in for an hour, out for 3, in for 5 minutes, out 10 minutes. And it was just a mess. So I told Amanda, I said I could do the show tonight. And I was so worn out. We'd worked from that morning to that evening, late that evening. And then we just went straight into work. Let me tell you, when we got home that night, I don't even remember going to sleep. I don't think Amanda did it. We was both just overwhelmed, worn out. And I don't know what it is when you see your birds in that kind of shape, something that you've worked to make so beautiful, and then you see a mess like that. It breaks you on the inside. It really does. I think I quit 5 times that one day and got back in all within that day. Quit, get back. Amanda would say, oh no, you know, think about it. Don't get out, you know, stay in it for a little bit longer. And I tell you, without her, I'd already been out probably. I would already give it up probably.
Okay. I'm going to make a comment here because I see a lot of questions and I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible. Don't put it up and kind of give you some insight on something. We have how do I want to say this? I want to be kind. We have a particular member who
we love.
I'm fond of him and I hope the best for him. But he puts things on the screen and in the comment box that shouldn't be put on there. He's just trying to be funny. He has a great sense of humor. He's just trying to be funny. But there's a few things here and there he puts on that actually could get us kicked off. And I need him to contact me, get on the phone, and him and I need to talk before I let him comment again. I'm not trying to get rid of him or nothing. I don't want that to happen, but I need him to contact me so we can talk. We need to come up with an understanding and we can move forward from that. So just understand that I'm hoping everything is going to be okay. I'm hoping to fix this. I didn't really want to talk about it, but I don't want people wondering what's going on. So did I say that okay? Is that good enough?
Yeah, he's a big part of the Breeders Academy.
He is.
We love him dearly. We really do.
But we got to be careful what we say on in the comments of these shows.
For an example, I said something at the beginning of a show the other day when we were talking about me being retired, me being home all day.
And she used
I said one word.
And we think that's what did it.
And we got a strike for that or a slap on the hand.
Yeah,
for
slap
that
on the
one.
hand.
So, yeah.
It's getting bad. It's getting very bad. But, I don't understand it. Some people can get on there and say whatever the heck they want, show whatever they want, and never get a reprimand, a warning, anything. Yeah. And then somebody use one word out of kilter and they hit you for it. I don't understand it.
And he doesn't mean anything by it. He's just trying to be funny, and I get it. And he is funny. Yeah. But there's just some things we can't have in the comment box.
And he's so smart. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I just need him to contact me and we can talk about it so we have an understanding.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah, we love him.
Okay.
All right. So back to Raiders now. He has gotten some issues with the rain and muck and mud too. So he's asking, so I'm building a 5x5 pen. Should I put sand only inside of them or on the whole yard?
What do you think, Frank?
I know that's his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, do it everywhere. Now, I've done this. I live in Kentucky where the soil is black. When it rains, it's just black mud. It's terrible. I tried sand years ago. I got 3 or 4 tons, put it in my yard, put it down about 3 or 4 inches thick. And within less than a year, probably 6-7 months, that sand mixed with that mud or the soil. And that was the awfulest mess that I've ever had in my life. The best thing that I've ever used as far as to put into pens is corn shucks. Those are the best. They don't come out of your cages, don't lose. Now, sand does have its benefits. Like if you live out to where on the coast or something like that, that's all there is. That's great. But when you have it sitting on top of the mud, it just mixes over time and just makes a pure out mess. I mean, it's
what does it do?
It just mixes and it makes just like a thin mud.
Oh,
very, very thin mud. And you can't even stand on it hardly. It's slick. But I use straw myself. It's a little expensive to use it, but mine gets washed out so much. I need to go to the corn shucks myself because where they've got the little fingers all over them, they can't wash out of the cage or get scratched out of the cage. They stay in there. And not only that, you can take them out, clean them, even wash them if you want, and dry them and put them back in the pen again. So they're reusable and they'll last for years. But
where do you get that?
Just find you a large cornfield somewhere and ask somebody if you can have all the shucks. They sell them here in bales actually, and they're expensive.
What's a shuck?
The outer part of the covering
of the corn.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the corn husk.
Yeah, the whole the covering on the corn itself. You just pull that back and break it off. Yeah. That's the best, and they love scratching in that. They love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Got another one?
Kiku's saying he uses wood chips.
Wood chips are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wood chips
is
really
that
good.
One.
Yeah. A lot of people here, a couple buddies of mine, they use the pea gravel. But I used pea gravel before, and it's really hard on the pads of their feet because you could see right on the pads that they would crack open, bust open, where they're jumping up and down on them all the time. When you use something like straw or the shucks, it pads when they jump down off the roof, so it keeps their feet looking really, really good on the softer material. The harder you go, the harder it's going to be on. I've seen people use gravel, the big
Ooh,
stones, and yeah, that may keep them up out of the mud and everything, but it's really hard on the feet.
Yeah.
they're going to have a lot of problems with that one.
Yeah.
All right. So Sean's asking, he's got a question that says, is it possible to get black round heads to come solid black like some Sid Taylor families? Most are black red.
It depends on what you're starting with. And I'd have to see pictures of them because black is a dominant trait. And so if you got the black breasted black red and you're breeding them to just regular black reds, like a BB red, then you're probably never going to get there. The hen is really important, having the right hen. That's going to help. Now, like my black pearls, it was a matter of, it was the hen that made the difference because I started getting them. Okay, let me back up a little bit because I'm kind of jumping all over the place. So I had a black breasted black red cock. A lot of people call them brown red that I got from a friend, and I picked out one of my best Maximus hens, which is a black breasted black red. A lot of people want to call them hatch, whatever. Okay, that kind. And I bred it to my black breasted black red to create that. I wanted to create that family. And for the longest time, it took about a good 10, 15 years to get them where I wanted them. And I started finding hens that weren't showing any of the mahogany in the hackle. They started showing pure black. They were pure black, no modeling or nothing in the breast, no stippling whatsoever, no mahogany in the hackle. I started bringing those to a couple of my birds that were showed a little red, but they were darker than normal. And I started getting the pure dark stuff. So knowing which ones to breed, having the right hens, you might be able to get there. Without seeing what you actually have to work with, I don't know if you're going to get there or not.
I've
So,
got them in both the brown and reds that I have and the what I call the black round heads. The majority of them would be like Kenny said. They'd have the red on the neck and even some on the breast. But also, I've got some that just come jet black, not another color on them except for black. But when I breed those, I still get the same colored stags as I do the ones with the red on them though on the neck. So it's odd set. I like the all black that way, but I just like to more or less keep them uniform and looking alike as far as the hens go. So I breed the ones back that has the red on the breast and the neck.
yeah, I do too. I'm just kind of playing with them because I saw that this one cock was getting darker. I found the hen that didn't have any mahogany or any modeling whatsoever, no stippling, bred them, and I got some offspring that were all black. I've got a stag out there that's completely black, and so it's like I just want to experiment, see if I want what I can do with it. Will I keep it? I don't know. I'm like Frank is. I like uniformity. I like a certain color. It's the black breasted black red color that I do like. I'm not really a favorite of pure black, but to get it there and see if I can hold on to it is a pretty cool thing. So if I can do that, is that the cat?
Yeah.
So God, I lost my train of thought. I forgot where I was going to go with that. Oh, it was funny because here's what I was going to say. It's when you're dealing with a lot of recessives, it's really hard to go the other way without you almost need to bring it in to have it and then work with it from there. That's why I say I kind of need to see your birds. And little by little, I got there, but it wasn't. It was it was only because I understood what hens to select. You know, Frank, I knew that straight comb was in those black pearls. I rarely got any, but the original cock that I bred was a straight comb. And then when I started getting them, they were getting those kind of floppy straight combs, kind of ugly, kind of thin, wasn't very good. So I just kept culling those out. Well, this one stag that's all black has the most beautiful, perfect straight comb you ever saw. So I'm like, oh, this could be really interesting to see what I can do with him. Being all black. I know what hen to breed him to because his mother is all black, and now he's got the straight comb. I could actually do some fun things with these. So
My laws used to be that way. They'd have a comb the size of my hand. And I mean, it was even, it'd be an inch thick and them 7 or 8 years or 7 or 8 months old, you know. And I call them biscuit heads. I mean, just the biggest, thickest heads ever. But now I've got them to where I went the other way with them. I started breeding the ones with the smaller, thinner heads with them and got out of that. But some of them, even with the brown and reds that I've got, man, some of those just at 3 months old, they'll have the biggest comb that you've ever seen in your life. Just huge.
It's a nice, big, strong comb, 5 points, perfect. I'm like, whoa. I'm not a big fan of straight comb, but and you know what's funny is he's got a different type of body than my pea combs, more of a slimmer.
They do
body, yeah,
they do.
Is he out of the Pearl's family?
Well, he's part of my Pearl family, yeah.
And so you're gonna do a subline?
Yeah. I'm gonna play around with it, see what I can do with it.
Usually, more times than not, you could reach me a true straight-headed family bird and blindfold me and let me feel of it, and then reach me a true pure pea-headed family and reach it to me, and I could, just by feeling of those birds, I could tell you which one's which.
I almost like this guy's conformation better than the other ones. It's kind of appealing, actually.
Yeah. Well, you get used to one certain way, and then something else comes along. It fascinates you. It makes those breeding muscles want to tense up and go to work.
Remember, I was telling you that there was a while there because I was breeding him towards the black leg, and for the most part, I was kind of getting it. But I started noticing that the cocks, when they got to be about 2 or 3 years old, the legs started fading to green. Right. Well, I think I got rid of that because I'm starting to see they're staying black and holding on to the black leg now.
Yeah. Well, I went from black to olive. I started getting olive legs.
Yeah. Because they have that recessive in them. But to see them be so black legged, and then as they grow older, that it's like a trigger. They went from the dominant color right to which was the weirdest thing. I'd never seen that happen before. It wasn't just fading. It went green on me. I was like, whoa. So I was like, I don't know if I want to keep this family going if I got to maintain that green leg. It just is not appealing to me to have a black bird, a black-breasted black-red bird with green legs. I just didn't want it. And the hens were all black-legged all the time. So now I'm getting the cocks black-legged, and they're holding on to the black leg. So I may have fixed it. I'm hoping I did.
Yeah, that's not too hard of a fix, though. As long as you find the ones that's the color that you want, as long as you've got those individuals, you can fix that fairly easy.
So what I wanted to say to Sean was, once he joins the Breeders Academy, he can set up a coaching call with you, and he can show you. You guys can put it on the screen where he can show you his birds that he has. And you guys can go from there as far as, like if he's only got a hen and a rooster, so he breeds those together. And then Kenny can check out your offspring and see, where you should go from there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Christopher, I don't see him on here tonight. He sent me some pics through the email. And the reason I wasn't getting them, they was going to junk. I didn't even check the spam part of it, but it was, for some reason, it was sending them to him. Man, I'll tell you something. He's got some blacks, and those are beautiful birds. If that's what he's starting with, the only way he's got is down. I don't think he can go up much more.
Okay, so let me ask.
That's
go
hard.
ahead, Frank.
That's hard to do when you start out with those nice birds. It's easy to go up with ones that's not that good of a bird. But man, when they're that good, it's tough.
Yeah.
So here's one for you, Frank. Do y'all have any thoughts on growing feeder insects like mealworms or dubia? Did I say that right? Roaches for the game fowl.
Yeah, I feed mine. Listen, when they run out, what do they eat? They eat insects. They eat a lot of insects. And if you ever take a bird and free range it and you keep one in a pen, even if you've got the best of nutrition to give that bird, the one that free ranges, it's getting all the mice and the insects and the little critters on the leaves, they will outshine those. And I think that's the reason. It is because of the insects. Now, I keep it under 5%. But yeah, I do feed black soldier flies and mealworms. Now, here's the thing. With the mealworms, make sure it's good quality and check them to make sure that they're not molded. If they're molded, you feed them to your chickens. you can cause a lot of problems with botulism. I've seen a lot of that, people feeding a high level of insects that's been dehydrated, and they would get wet and mold and make the birds sick. So you just want to make sure 100% that they're kept in the dry and they don't get molded.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, you're not bringing any cockroaches to this house.
Oh,
Now, I've
come
not
on.
tried the cockroaches. I've tried the mealworms
No
and those
way.
type, but not cockroaches.
Oh, I know you guys are all laughing.
Well,
at
it's
me.
funny. Gregor Mendel, before he started using pea plants to learn the laws of inheritance, he actually wanted to use mice, and they wouldn't let him.
Wow.
He was going to use mice in the beginning. Yeah.
That would have been perfect to use, though. He would have got a lot more out of it, probably, his findings with using the mice.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
now-
pea plants turned out to be really good because of all the different characteristics they carried. They had like 8
Recessive, dominant.
different characteristics. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that any other animal is going to have. Plants are great for that. And
Yeah.
Even the dragon snaps that I use, there's been many studies on genetic counts of that just with the dragon snaps.
He had the pea color, the shape of the pea, the smoothness of the roughness of the pea, the plant itself, which was tall, short, or tall, or tall, short, or medium. Yeah, they had different. He was getting all different kinds of variation with those pea plants, which really allowed him to do the tests that he needed to do to learn about dominant recessive. But yeah, he was trying to start with mice.
Well, the dragon snaps are really evasive. I mean, you can grow them on a rock. They're that easy to grow. And I started out with a real light pink in color. And before long, I had purple, white, red, along with it, just sprung up out of nowhere. But when I would take the seeds out of that one plant and try them back again, they would always come out the original color that I started with, was that light pink. I never could get it to produce the color that it was coming out with on that particular plant.
Yeah.
Well, this is what Nathaniel's doing here. He's growing roaches, breeding roaches.
I grow my own mealworms. They call them the super worms. Actually, they putate into a beetle. Beetle lays the eggs, comes the worms pupate, turn back into beetles again. And I raise about 4,000 a year.
Really? What, in an aquarium?
Well, I've got, you seen these little plastic like organizers you get? It's got the shelves as you pull out on them. I've just got them in those with the bedding on it, and they do the rest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ew.
Got another one?
No, that's it. That's all I've got so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have took a picture. Well, I did take some pictures. Remember I told you that it looked like a jungle in my backyard? We weren't going to get any rain at first. It's like it was like dry. We didn't get rain like we normally do in December, January, and February. It was like completely dry. It was dirt when it should have been grass. And then the rain
Weeds.
came in and just took us over. Those weeds out there are what? Chest high?
Yeah.
Easily. They're
Yeah.
chest high now. I was going to take a
Absolutely.
picture and show you guys.
The last 3 days, people's not been able to mow their yards here until the last couple of days. And where we got all that rain, man, it put everything on, just put it on crack. I mean, the weeds grew up overnight. You'd have to see it. It's crazy. Our yard was awful.
Growing fodder.
Fodder. What do you think, Frank?
What was it now?
What are your all thoughts on growing fodder?
Oh, I grow corn just about every year I can. Helps on the feed bill with corn. I got my own grinder where I can do my own cracked corn, all that. Yeah, it's great. If you got a place to do it, I'd much rather have that than anything.
What's fodder?
Corn.
What is that?
Corn.
Why don't you call it corn? Why do you call it fodder?
Fodder is the stock, not the
Oh.
not the actual corn itself. It's the plant itself. And
Oh,
you can take that and they put it in fodder shocks. They lean it up, for Halloween, how they do the fodder, and then they tie one around it. And
Decoration.
we dry it out, and that's what our cattle, pigs, different type of animals do. But those leaves make good litter for a while, but the drier they get, the more they break up. So it lasts for a little bit, but not that long.
See what happens, Frank? We start talking about feed, and all the questions are about feed now.
Well, because people want to feed their chickens healthy stuff so that their chickens are healthy.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
think?
Guys,
You
it's
think?
very important part of the breeding
You think?
process. I do. And he doesn't want to talk about it that often.
yeah.
So I'm always bugging him about that. So
The thing about it is research it to make sure it's safe for a chicken, but always remember this: keep it at least 5% of what you're feeding them in total. Don't overdo it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
A little bit's good. Too much is bad.
We don't do
care
it
what
much
is.
anymore because we started feeding some things out of the kitchen, and I started noticing some
Mhm.
chickens weren't doing so well, so I kind of stopped. But there was a point when we were feeding treats, and we had the 10% rule we were
Yes.
calling it. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep
Yeah.
mine under 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good too, because I'm reading on the internet more often now on these different podcasts and different YouTube channels. And they're like, oh yeah, they're eating fresh vegetables out of the garden and everything like that. And I'm like thinking, well, that's fine and all, but I mean, if that's all you're feeding them, that and corn, they're not getting the proper protein
Well,
that they need.
I don't know sometimes because I talked with Brian about it, Brian Reeder, and he was saying he wasn't really feeding his chickens commercial feed very much of it at all. He
Feeding
was
them
growing his
scraps.
own. He was
Yeah.
either growing his own or he was going down to the stores and getting what they weren't selling. And he would throw some scratch grains every now and then for them. But he says he was picking up, checking out. Their reproduction was really good. They were healthy, and he was just feeding them, the stuff he either grew or got from the store. I think Frank's right. You got to be careful what you feed them because it can be moldy. I mean, here's how I look at it: if you won't eat it, you shouldn't be feeding it to your chickens.
That's right.
That's what I think.
That's how I see it. But today's, as far as the benefit of feeds go, a little of what we can tolerate, they can. You just want to stay away from certain peppers and onions, the onion family itself, raw potatoes. Now, cooked potatoes is fine for them, but no raw potatoes. It can make chickens very, very sick. And it's the chemical
Onions,
makeup
too?
of the potatoes.
Onions, yeah, no.
Yeah, anything in the onion family, that's the reason I say a lot of people says, "Oh, I feed garlic for years. My chickens love it." But garlic's an onion. You've got two sides of coin with that. It's bad for dogs. It's bad for chickens. But you can also look up other articles on it that swears by its anti-inflammatory properties and its build on the immune system. But you got one over here that says don't. You got another one over here that says does, and it's split down the middle. But still, I just be cautious about what you feed them in the onion family. Just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about feeding chopped pieces of fruit like grapes and bananas as a treat? Any benefits?
Yeah,
That should be good.
I love it, and they love it. They love it. But you got to realize what is fruit. It's pure sugar. If you think about it, it's pure sugar.
Oh yeah.
So you need to keep it in a certain amount. What you feed your chickens.
Yeah.
I love ice cream, and I smoke.
Can't eat it every day.
The older I got, the less I could have of it.
Yeah. So
I'm so bummed.
I've got my bad habits. We all got that bad habit that we shouldn't do, and we know we shouldn't do it, but we do it anyway. But it's just like with chickens. They don't have that little voice in the back of their head saying, this is bad for us. We shouldn't eat it. Like a guy said, oh, I feed mine styrofoam. Never had a problem with it. And all that styrofoam is chemical after chemical after chemical after chemical that is getting inside that chicken's body. Yeah, just because they eat it and it didn't kill them doesn't mean it's still good for them.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of things that's bad for me or ingest a lot of things bad for me, but that don't mean it's good for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should address this one. We have
Which one?
have some views on that.
Which one? Show it to me.
Okay, so you got this one, and then you got that one.
I don't think I'm seeing that one.
Go ahead and put it up. Let Frank go at it.
Okay, so we have this one. Can you read that?
Well, no, do the other one.
Okay, that was first, and then here we go. Want to take a stab at that?
No.
Not game foul.
No. We talked about this on the last show. Now, in meat birds, yeah, they're not going to live a long life. Okay. I've seen them now, Kenny. You know, we've always said 38 days. I read an article there last Monday that they're getting birds for market for meat at 27, not 38, but 27
Wow.
weeks. So, in meat birds, yeah, I say put it to it. You know, get them as big as you can, feed them as much as you can to get them at that desired point for slaughter. Game fowl, no, because when you're overfeeding the bird to that, yeah, it's going to grow, but there's going to be parts of that bird that will grow faster than other parts. And then you've got a bird that sits there. You've got a game rooster sitting there looking like an ostrich.
That's a person who does not understand this breed.
Yeah, you just can't do it. If you do it and see the aspects, the actual role that it does to the bird, it convinces you that it's not a good thing.
Their growth and development may be fast, but their conformation, type, carriage, and stations proportionate.
It destroys it.
Yeah,
it destroys it.
What's the word for that?
They look imbalanced,
disproportionate, something like that.
Yeah.
They don't look right. They grow improperly. Let's put it that way. So, I think most breeds should be just fed the proper diet with the proper proteins, amino acids, minerals, whatever, and let them grow at the proper stage, at the proper growth and development. God, I can't talk today. The level. Okay. If you're trying to rush that, they're just not going to grow right. They're not going to look right. They're just not going to be the chickens they were supposed to be.
Well, you want a good diet. You want a high protein, high calcium diet for a chick in the first 5 weeks. Okay. But you got to stay within that proportion, not going over that 24% protein level. Okay. You go over that, and that bird, you're going to either burn it up, destroy its organs, or both. And then that bird, I promise you, all of them, I would look at them and say, gosh, these birds are double the size of the ones. And I've done my experiments over the years with this and say, this bird is double the size of this one. Man, this is what I need to do. But once I got those birds to maturity, the birds that grew slower was such I can't even relate to you how much better those birds were compared to the ones that grew super fast.
When I see that, I see a person who doesn't understand the breed.
I agree.
Because there's only one bird you do that with, and that's a terminal bird for meat. Yep.
The terminal birds, I see go ahead and do it. Put it to it. But game fowl birds, birds that you're going to keep for, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's the way you got to, because if you do it the other way.
We missed it. You froze up.
Oh.
We're the only ones that didn't get to hear what you said, and I'm sure it was valuable too.
If the birds grow to that rate and grow that fast.
That's us. That's not him. That's us.
Yeah,
we're freezing up.
That's okay. Yeah. Everybody else saw it.
Yeah, it's you guys are pixeling coming in and out. That's what it's doing. Yeah.
All right, let's get this guy in here. There we go. All right. I have some black-breasted blacks. One hen in particular, she has produced about
I think they went out again, guys. And to answer your question real fast, John, it would be a sport. If it's Snow White, come out Snow White out of a black family, it would be a sport. Here's the thing. You've got to have two in order to solidify that sport to make it white. As long as you breed sport to sport, they will remain white throughout a lifetime. But breeding the white back to the black is just going to create other problems as far as, okay, now they're totally gone now. You're just mixing colors at that point. But you would have to have two sports in order to maintain that solid white. I hope that answered your question. Now, let's see if we can get Nancy and Kenny back. This has been some night, I'll tell you guys. Nothing's went right. Raider, he asked, what is more dominant, yellow legged or green leg? Okay, the yellow leg is dominant over the green, but as long as you breed green to green, it's more recessive. Uh, if you breed green to green, you'll be green from there on. But the yellow overrides the green, the white overrides the yellow. White is your most dominant color, leg color. So it's going to be over all of them. But if you breed green to green, you'll get green. But yellow to green, you're going to get both. But you'll get some of both of them. But usually yellow is dominant over green, unless you're breeding two green legs for the recessive. I don't think they're going to come back this time. I knew they was going to come back because Nancy started getting more comments.
Oh man!
Any more you want to add to this, Mr. Kenny?
I put no internet. It delivered.
We're on now, so I don't know for how long. What's that, Frank?
I answered it, but I'll get your take on it as well. It says, what's more dominant, yellow-legged or green-legged?
Yellow-legged.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said, as long the green-legged was more recessive. If you breed green-legged to green-leg, you're never going to get any other color but green-leg. But yellow is dominant over that. White's dominant over both of them. So,
yeah. Well, it's like white and yellow are both dominant, but white's more dominant than yellow.
Right.
Yeah.
Much more.
Yeah. So, yeah. We missed all the good stuff, it sounds like.
I know. What was the answer to that?
Yeah, the one question comes up for Kenny and it gets booted out.
Yeah. So.
Did you answer it, Frank?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We was talking about it somewhat off and on while you guys was out there for a little bit.
I never have internet problems, so this is something weird.
They must be working on a tower.
They may be.
Could be.
Yeah.
How's the wind out there?
There's no wind. It's nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, do you guys have buried lines out there, or is it in the air like out here?
In some places, but they're going to do that here pretty soon.
I wish they'd do it here. Have electrical, all the lines underground, because every time there's a bad windstorm, everything gets taken out. Electricity, communications, everything.
No, it's a good day, so they must be working on something.
Could be.
Well, there was you know what? Right about the time that the internet started going wonky, there was sirens going. So I'm wondering if somebody hit a pole.
One time we were in the living room, and all of a sudden we heard this whack. It was really loud. And look out the window, and all the wires and the trees were like flipping out and all over the place. Somebody came around the corner. Yeah, it was really weird. And all of a sudden, that's what happened. Somebody hit the pole head on at a pretty good speed.
That's happened here a lot too. Yeah. Kelly had a question there about the conversation of the green and yellow leg. He's wanting to know, can you get rid of the green leg for good? Eliminate it.
Okay, how do I want to answer this? For most people, no. But is there a way? Yes. So if you have green-legged birds and let's say you have yellow-legged birds and you're getting, you have the green-legged gene, and so you get the green leg from time to time. You make sure never to breed to the green-legged birds for one thing. But and then understand that some of those yellow-legged birds, most of them are going to be heterozygous for yellow, but you're going to get a small percentage that are homozygous for yellow. The problem is finding them, because you need to test all your yellow-legged birds. You need to test them, which could take a lot of breeding them a lot, hatching a lot of chicks, getting a good sample from them. And if you can find the two birds that are pure for yellow, that you could hatch 100, 200 chicks and never see one green legget. Chances are they're pure for the yellow. Only breed those. The green will disappear. Most people aren't willing to do that. Most people aren't willing to go to those extremes to find who's pure for that particular leg color and test them, find them, and then only breed those. Can it be done? Yeah. If you're willing to do the test, hatch a lot of chicks and find them. And you have to have a lot of birds to test too. So it's expensive, a lot of work, a lot of time.
And Kelly, you're right. It is a lot of work. That's what he commented. He said a lot of work. So
yeah,
it is.
So that's why I'm stuttering a little bit, because I'm hesitant to say yes when the truth is yes, but you got to be willing to do what it takes to get there. For most people, it's a no.
Yeah.
It's hard. Once you get a recessive in the family, it's really hard to get rid of it.
And it's dangerous into the fact to where that sometimes you can overlook the individual and focus more on the leg color, and you're not breeding the individuals you need to breed. You're just focused on that leg color, and that can throw you down a rabbit hole fast.
Yeah, because it's like tandem selection.
Right.
Which I hate. Because when you're like Frank says, if you're paying attention to one trait, there's other traits that are being neglected and lost and destroyed. So you could find that one bird that's homozygous for yellow leg, but it has terrible conformation. You know what I mean?
With game fowl, with mine, it's more of an opportunity than it is for me to do it. If I get the opportunity to help color or leg color, yeah, I'm going to do it. But I'm just not going to breed for that one particular thing with it in my family, because I'm afraid I'll focus on that one problem, say a green leg, and like Kenny mentioned, I'm going to overbreed looking the bird as a whole and cause problems.
This is an interesting question, Sean. I'm only guessing. By the 1976, Sean, you're closer to our age than most people, because first of all, you understand Clarets. You understand that they had the black spurs. So I'm finding that very interesting. A lot of our so-called black-breasted red families, a lot of them came from the black-breasted black reds that you see. They were the highly sought after birds. It wasn't the black-breasted reds that were highly sought after back in the day of our forefathers. So there's a lot of what we call black or dark chickens, the darker birds that were in our lines even before some of the others. And then you had also the white hackles that came in too, that were some of the lighter birds back then. So the black spur, now he's talking about an actual black spur. Some of the spurs we see in like our black-breasted reds are what we call horn. They're darker, but they're not exactly black. So I'm assuming that was a remnant of the black-breasted black reds, because it's a dominant trait. And the only way to get that dominant trait is to get it from the right birds and the right ancestries. And it was a family. I mean, Frank might know the history of the family better than me. All I can go is by the genetics, but anyone who I knew had good clarets all had the black spur, so they bred for it. It was a very interesting breed because they were dark, really dark wine-colored cocks, white-legged with black spurs, very striking, straight comb, beautiful birds, and the hens were wheaten color with white leg and black spurs too, and they were straight comb. Very interesting breed. You don't see them very much anymore. Kind of a shame. Actually.
Yeah. Everything goes back to what I've saw in the past. Everything on that black spur goes back to what they called the white hackles.
But the white hackles weren't black. They weren't dark.
No, their spur was black. They had a black spur. Anything that's got white hackle in it will express a black spur usually. Even some of the ones I call my roundheads, they'll come black spurred.
And what's funny too is the progressive white we're seeing in our birds, probably from those white hackles.
It is. It is. Because if you pull their neck feathers up, all underneath it, that's how the name was deemed, white hackle, because they had all that white under their neck.
They would be nice, not lemon hackle, but they'd be a golden hackle on the surface. But when they spread that thing out, It was completely white
Snow
underneath.
white.
Yeah, that's why they call them white hackles. A
I
lot of people
always
don't know
loved
that. And you know what? You don't see many of those either
No,
today.
no, it's in the rest of the body. It's not in the hackles now. It's in
It's
the
all
wings
over the
and the
place
tail.
now.
Yeah, on the back, the
Yeah.
breast, everywhere. Yeah.
Tony had some of those. They were beautiful birds, but when you spread that hackle out, completely white underneath, but didn't have any white anywhere else on the bird.
It's amazing how white it was too. I mean, it was whiter than almost a pearl white.
Isn't that funny that we call certain strains certain names, especially when it comes to the color of the bird, not the names, not like Hatch, Sweater, Kelso. We're talking about the actual color
round
of the bird.
head.
People don't even know why those colors exist, why those birds were called that because of the color.
Yeah.
Because what they're calling white hackles today aren't the white hackles they used to be at all.
No, they can just be just a black-breasted red and call them white hackles.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and not even have the actual white under the hackles.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now they have white all over the hackle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
it's on the outside and inside now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like this. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Kenny told me this years and years ago. And I had this blackbird that had just a little bitty pin spot on one of her main shafts on her tail. And I said, what do you think about that, Kenny? And Kenny goes, well, yeah. I said, it's just a spot. And he goes, yeah, it's just a spot. But with just that spot, her whole tail could be white and it ain't going to make a difference. Because the more you breed them, that spot gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's gonna be different in different offsprings. So one, it could be just a spot, and another one, it could be the whole body.
The fact it shows one white feather shows evidence that it has a progressive white, and it's just going to get worse. Every time he molts, you breed to another bird with progressive white, it's going to produce offspring that are all showing progressive white, even more than the parents right from the beginning. It just gets worse from there. So we're going to have an episode on progressive white with Brian Reeder on the website here pretty soon.
I'm looking
check
forward
it out.
to that one.
Yeah, check it out, because it's gonna be very interesting for a lot of people, and it's going to be devastating for some.
Well, it's always been allowed in other breeds. Say, and I'm playing the name game here to give everybody an example of what it is. Sweaters, round heads, that type deal. You know, it's got the white, a lot of white on them. But when it comes to a blackbird, say like a brown and red or a ginger or somewhere in that area, no white on them whatsoever.
Because the people who raised sweaters thought that was a feature of the breed.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't realize what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know,
breeding it, not knowing the consequences.
Yeah. It was a color. It's kind of striking in some ways, but it's something you can't control. It just gets worse as it goes.
Yeah. And I found out, as like I was telling Kenny, I had to do away with one complete line of mine because, they had it in the tail. Some of them would have it in the wings, but they got to where they were just starting to spangle on the chest, on the breast. And they wasn't doing that, though, until maybe 5-6 years old. They'd keep a black breast until they got up to that certain age, and then every one of them would start expressing that white coming out, and it would cover the body. Yeah. So I just done away with the whole line.
Yeah. So watch out for that episode. It's going to be a masterclass video on the website.
That'd be really a good one.
Nathaniel has a pretty good question here. My white American game family, most of the chicks I've hatched came out yellow-legged, but the parents have white legs. Did the parents lose the yellow in their leg, or is it genetic? It's definitely genetic. Okay, so basically what they're showing you, we talk about all the time, the offspring never lie. They tell you exactly what you want to know about the parents. This is what we call a test cross or a test mating. You bred two birds, might be white-legged, but they're both carrying the yellow gene, and it showed up in the offspring.
There you go.
Yeah. That just shows that they're not pure for the white leg.
Yeah. You just did your test mating.
That was a test mating. Yeah.
And they can fool you. Just like this. I had some white pullets that had the bluest of legs. I mean, they were crayon blue. Actually, a beautiful color. They was a cross. They molded out the next year, snow white legs. The blue just disappeared.
Wow. Yeah, well, blue's related to the white.
Yeah.
But the only problem is with American games especially, I'm not sure about some of the domestic breeds because not very many of them come out blue-legged. I've never seen anybody been able to sustain. I need to talk to
Can't
It's one of the
maintain it.
things I need to talk to Brian about. But American games, you can't sustain it. You could have blue and they won't breed pure. I mean, they won't carry it on. They don't replicate it.
Well, the blue leg color is not tolerant for game fowl. It can be made, but it can't be maintained, just like Kenny said.
It can't be reproduced.
Yeah, through offspring. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
It goes to one side or the other. It follows the leg color that's prevalent for that breed.
I need to talk to Brian about that. It's one of those things we keep meaning to talk to him about, but I don't know if we ever got around to actually talking to him about it.
I even mentioned that to you when we was coming up on that topic on the blue leg there that one time. I'm interested in that one,
because
knowing aspects of it.
What I think it is, it's not exactly a blue leg. It's just the leg. There's different layers of derm. Okay, and they're different colors. That's what makes up the color. And I just think for that particular bird, it's missing one of the colors basically. So the blue's coming through, but I don't think it's a blue-legged bird actually.
Yeah, there's if you research it, there's no blue-legged game fowl out there that's not prevalent for their leg color itself.
Let me see.
It has to be made. It has to be made. It's not one of the color legs that they express.
Do I have?
What about slate?
That's blue.
That's considered
same
blue.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't have it here.
It's just a lighter version of the blue.
I need to get it on here if I don't have it here. Okay. Sue's asking an interesting question. Damn, I don't have it on here.
You don't have the jungle fowl?
No, I should have it on here. You know what? Let me do something here real quick. Because she's asking an interesting question. Because Brian and I covered jungle fowl.
Now, in domestic breeds, blue leg is prevalent. It's there in most domestic, but just not in game fowl.
Do you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, come on. I should have that here. I got to do better getting some pictures more.
I know we have some.
I know I have some. I created a really cool one.
And the old English is blue-legged, but that's not a game though.
Oh!
Did you see it?
Yeah, scroll up.
No. Well,
what is that one? And what is this one?
No, that's a gray. Oh man, see, I don't like wasting time like this. So unless I can find it right away, I don't usually mess with it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to look at this real quick, but I need to get it on here because I have a feeling I should pull it up more often. That's not the one I want though. Because I think
they're so neat looking.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, you know what? This is taking up too much time. Forget it. Anyways, the salon are.
You want me to keep
looking?
Go
ahead and look. We have. Wait, hold on. We have 4 basic jungle fowl, and salon is one of them. And I have a really cool banner that shows the jungle fowl really well. I use it for the. I'm actually using it for the.
Is that
videos? It? No. I'm using it for the videos that I did with Brian.
Well, we have a leg color chart in there too, as well.
Yeah.
On the
website.
Yeah, on the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, a lot of those episodes I did with Brian, for the most part, I'm just trying to get them out as fast as I can because the information is so good. But I am planning on going back and adding a bunch of banners and illustrations to help illustrate what he's talking about. So I want to improve them. But I didn't want to waste a lot of time doing that right now when the information he's talking about is good all by itself. And I just felt like it was going to slow me down. So just understand, let me get these out so you can at least watch them and listen to them and get some value from them. And then I'll go back and fix them up and make them even better.
Well, we've done some of those before, Kenny, in the past, and you put them on unedited and then went back and put the graphs and edited them. And when I watched it, it was like I was watching it for the first time, and I'd already seen the original. But after Kenny got done with it, it was like I was watching it for the first time.
And there's a few of the Masters Class videos that you and me, Frank, did that were good all by themselves, but I still have them in my folder that I still need to put graphs on those too.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm trying to do this year is get those out of the way and get them get them on the website the way I want them. The
I think
information
it's good for them to see that unedited part, though.
Well, I guess because that's
Some
what they
of it.
are. They're unedited. That's actually what
But
they are.
some
They're
of it.
unedited. Yeah. And but I want them to have the illustrations to go with what we were talking about.
Yeah.
There was about 3 of them that I want to fix up, and then I've got Brian's. But when I feel like the information's that good, I don't want to hold it back. I want to get it on the website as fast as I can so that you guys can check it out and learn from it. And then I'll go back. So, any other questions?
And
I've got to get
right here's what a lot of
back to-
people do, just like what Sue said. She said she's listened to the original one 4 times.
Which one?
The one that wasn't edited. So
The first one?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what she's talking about. She said she'd listened to it 4 times, but that's the way I do. I don't listen to it just one time. I
No.
listen to it multiple times, and I swear each time I listen to it, I bring something away from it.
No, I'm the same way. I talk about it all the time. This is something that we talk about a lot, is that I'm a big repetitious kind of guy, that I need to watch it, listen to it multiple times. And I do learn from it every time I do it. And if I buy a book, I buy the book. If they have a video that accompanies it, I buy that. If they have an audiobook, I buy that. And I do everything I can to learn that particular topic every way I can. And so I do the same thing on the website, that we may create a video, but I might have an audio version. I may have another version with the illustration. So no, I encourage everybody, just because you've watched every video, I wouldn't say you've learned from it yet. You need to watch them multiple times, take notes, that kind of thing,
That's the way I am.
Yeah.
It seems like the more I watch it and listen to it, the more I gather from it each time.
So he's saying, Jose's saying, what about the age trigger white? Is that still progressive white, like the face feathers of an old hen? But think of it this way.
It could be.
I think it's old age. I think it is a trigger. Look at me. I'm full of gray. Well, you can't see it in that light, but I have a pretty white head. Okay. Look at my beard. I had black hair growing up. Now my hair is mostly white and my beard's white. That's old age, but that's a genetic trigger too.
It's called children.
That's me.
Daughters.
That's me. I just keep mine so short anymore that you can't see the gray in it. So that's my secret.
Well,
Yeah,
it works in reverse for me. When I get my hair cut, it's whiter than it was before. It's like, God, I think you cut all the dark hair out.
I see more and more every year. I see more and more white in my hair.
Yeah,
and my mom just turned 76 yesterday, and I've got more gray hair than she's got.
You have more stresses than she has.
My brother is 6 or 7 years younger than me, and he's whiter than I am.
My brother is. My brother's got more gray.
Would you say I look younger than my brothers?
Yeah.
And I'm older
There's
than them.
now, my other brother, he's been gray-headed all his life. He's had gray in his hair even when he was a teenager,
Oh, wow.
But my younger brother, I believe he's actually got more gray than I've got, but he's got longer hair than I've got too. So,
yeah. Any more questions, or are we going to wrap it
Okay,
up?
so you've answered the Kenny. What about the age trigger? Okay, that's what we were just
It could
talking
be
about.
old age. It could be trigger. I think they're sometimes one and the same, actually. So I've got a young pullet, hatched out green legs, and now it seems blue. Yeah, I think it's a difference in the different layers of derm. Sometimes the color fades.
it's just like the pigment in people's skin. Our skin can change as we age as well.
Yeah.
The pigment in our skin. We can be
So don't
darker,
bother
lighter.
breeding it, trying to maintain that blue. It's not a blue-legged bird.
Yeah, it's only illusion, guys. That's all it is. It's illusion. Really, that's all it is.
So Raiders Game Fella, you're talking about the color of the chicken leg?
No,
or
I
you're
think he's talking
your
about his hair.
I know.
Oh.
I'm just teasing.
Hey, they're doing that today. Have you seen all those birds on social media? They're taking that hair like a spray dye and completely turned them yellow, blue, red, green, orange.
Oh,
Have
for
you
like
seen those?
Easter? For Easter?
Yeah, no, just doing game chickens that way. I think it was in the Philippines where they was doing it. But yeah,
Oh,
making them
yeah.
all different
Okay.
colors.
Whatever
Yeah.
floats your boat, guys.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Whatever floats your boat.
God, I'm phlegmy today.
All right, so we are at a hour and 20 minutes talking about
Really?
Q&As.
Well, that was about an hour with all the internet problems, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I would just like to say we really appreciate you guys. You are what shaped the show, and your questions
Especially
help the
today.
show move along, especially today. Make sure that if you like the show, give us a thumbs up if you liked what you saw today, and
Did
share.
they see anything? I'm not
I
sure
know.
we saw it.
Share a lot. The thumbs up really helps us with our algorithms so that we can get more of our shows out to the masses.
Makes me feel better.
Yeah, about the only thing they heard today was me sitting here looking like a deer in headlights going, womp, 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 womp.
You know, I can't wait to rewatch this show and see that, because we didn't get to see that because we were
Kenny,
totally
just delete
out
that
of it.
part completely out, please. Just
Hey, you know what I'm thinking about doing?
For it.
You know what I'm thinking about doing, because it's so messed up in the first place, is I may use this for a Monday podcast and not edit it at all.
Oh,
and
God.
just
Oh, Lord, help us.
Oh, Lord. You're killing me here, Kenny.
Wait, I gotta say this. Wait. Okay, so one time Frank and I were recording a master's class video. Okay, and I popped out for some reason. Still to this day, I don't know why. Okay, so Frank was left on there, and I went back to watch the video afterwards to see what happened, because I finally came back on, and I was like scrambling to type it in my phone. Frank, don't leave the room, because if he leaves and I left, then we lost everything. Okay.
Yeah.
It would just disappear. And so I was scrambling to type it in, and I thought, what am I doing? So I called him, like, Frank, are you still there? He goes, yeah, I'm still waiting. So I go, okay, just stay there. I'm going to come back in. And we did. We just continued, and I ended up editing that out. But when I went back and watched it, it was so funny, because when it went to that part and I popped out, Frank's like, oh crap.
Like I was today.
I was laughing so hard because he was like, he didn't know what to do or what to say or everything. And then he left the screen, and then he came back, and he's like looking around like what to do. And then he left the screen again. I'm like, oh my God. So, and then you could see him talking to me on the phone, but it was so funny. I should put that as a blooper.
Yeah. You need more
so
bloopers on here, because I'm not the only one that's blooping all over the place.
We'd have a bunch of those. we could have a 5-hour show with all those or longer.
I don't have the energy or time to keep everything, I just move on,
Just watch each show, and you can get several out of each show.
Yeah, you listen to our podcast, the audio side, we sound like geniuses. We sound like idiots on the video side.
You guys are too hard on yourselves. You
yeah,
guys
that's
do
what everybody
fine.
says.
Well, Kenny takes all the and ahs and all the misspoken words out.
I can do that with one button.
Yeah,
I can hit
awesome.
one button on the editing thing, and all the ums and ahs are gone.
Take all the foul language out of it. Womp, womp, womp.
Okay.
Wow.
We wouldn't have a show if you took the foul language out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, is next Friday, Good Friday?
Yeah.
When's Amanda's birthday?
Next weekend.
Okay,
Oh.
so I'm glad I'm saying this
Friday.
now. So next Friday, we will not be having a show. It's Good Friday, and it's Amanda's birthday, and Frank would love to be able to spend that day with his sweetheart. So we will not be here.
And I don't want
next
Amanda
Friday.
being mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard to do.
We'll remind you midweek that we're not having a show next
I don't know.
week.
You want to remind them? I may forget.
Okay. I'll make sure.
So, so let's take the next week off, and we'll come back, do the show we were supposed to do. And then after that, we'll do one of Frank's nutrition, either the one on stress, or I don't know. You came up with a half a dozen different episodes. So we'll do one. We'll do one of those time after that.
And so for the people who celebrate Easter, happy Good Friday, happy all that good stuff for you. And we're going to see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Going to be
we'll miss you.
Easter, guys.
Yeah.
For the ones that celebrate it, those eggs are expensive.
Okay. We'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye.
See you guys.